We have a liftoff. We have a liftoff.
What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? I need y'all to do me a favor real quick. I need y'all to go ahead and begin to share this broadcast. Can y'all do me a favor and do that? Can y'all go ahead and share this broadcast right now? Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. We got a great show tonight. I'm excited about the show tonight. Welcome, Instagram family, Facebook family. Welcome. YouTube family. Welcome. It is going down. Having a little technical difficulties. I want to make sure that I'm plugged up really quickly because it says that my power life is a little low here. So I want to make sure before I get in the talk, my wife is plugging up for me. Shout out to my wife in the background. We got it. We got liftoff. All right. We got liftoff. All right. Y'all let me know. Can y'all see us on Facebook now? We should be up on Facebook. Yes, we are. We are up there. All right. Let's go. All right. Instagram family, Facebook family, YouTube family, welcome to another broadcast of Authentically You. If you were not here with us last week, we had an amazing conversation with four brothers around life, love, and legacy. This is what this live podcast is all about. It's about life, love, and legacy and everything in between. So we got a great show tonight because y'all know what's coming up. Mother's Day is coming up. And what better conversation to have than a conversation with mothers as we enter the Mother's Day holiday. This is going to be a uncut raw conversation about motherhood. And I know these three ladies tonight are going to share from a place of transparency and honesty. And I'm praying that you guys will enjoy this conversation. So, once again, thank you, Amber, so much. Hey, listen, if you're in the room with us tonight, go ahead and do me a favor and just greet us. Just say hello. I want to shout you out. Tell us what city you are tuning in from. I want to be able to shout you out. I want to say hello to you. Instagram family, hello. Uh, YouTube family, hello. Facebook family, hello. I want to just say hello. So if you're watching tonight from any one of those platforms, go ahead and just shoot us a hello, a big hello where you're from. We want to be able to shout you out as we are having this conversation. I'm excited. Okay. Darby PA in the building. We get ready to bring the ladies up. Darby PA in the building. Where else? We got people watching from tonight. I want you to just go ahead and shout it out. Now listen, don't be a stalker tonight on this broadcast, right? We want you to be interactive. We want you to jump in with us. I'm seeing on IG, we got Oakland, California in the house. Shout out to you, good brother. What's up, DC man? Shout out to you. Shout out to Dallas in the building. Maryland is in the building. Okay. I'm loving it tonight. Let's go. All right, here we go. Let's bring our guests to the stage because I really want to have this conversation tonight, and I think it's going to be a great conversation. So do me a favor, if you have not already shared and you have the capability to share, I want you to share tonight. I'm your host, Duane Williams Jr., and I am excited about this conversation tonight. Y'all ready to go? Y'all ready to get it? Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, bring it to the stage at this time. Yes, it is. She is an amazing individual. Tinysha, you're also a co-author, correct? Yes, you are a co-author. She is a mom of four. Yes, mom of four. She is a woman of God. She is creative. She has her own podcast, which I help me welcome to the stage at this time. The good friend, Tinysha, is in the building. What's up, man?
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
You coming through nice and clear. I love it. I love it.
That's
How was your day?
good.
Let me first ask you, how was your day before we get anything underway? How was your day?
Full transparency, my day was crazy.
Okay.
Um, I just started teaching a brand new cohort of 15 students, teaching them how to
Shout
be
out to the
community health
professional
workers.
life. Okay, mom.
Yes.
Let's
So it was
go.
extremely hectic, but at the end of the day, it was an amazing day. Allowed some brains to open to new things today. So that was an amazing part.
I love it. I love it. A professional indeed. All right. I love this. The next person we're gonna bring to the stage, she is a friend as well. She's a minister in the Lord's church. She is a mom of three. A mom of three. And she is amazing in her own right, a wonderful person indeed. Would y'all help me? And she critiqued me earlier how I said her name, so we're gonna make sure we say it all the way right tonight. Would y'all help me welcome to the stage at this time, Tamara? Huh?
That's that's still not
I
right.
still butchered it,
It's
didn't I?
okay. Hi,
It's
everybody.
it's it's close. It's close, right?
All
It's
right.
close. I love it. It's close. Well, how you feeling tonight?
I feel great, actually. I feel really good.
You
I'm
feel
ready.
really good?
I'm ready to have a conversation.
I don't know what Tanisha is doing. I think she's making like bacon or something over there. Because you could just hear it rattling. You're like, what in the world?
All right, I'm
Uh,
gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna
you
stop
got
right
to,
now.
because we want your undivided attention tonight. We want your undivided attention because we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Last
I
but not
surrender.
least,
Yep.
my big sister indeed, semi my partner in crime sometime, always trying to correct me on the low, but then I got to come back and correct her. But she is also a co-author. She's not a minister yet in the Lord's church, but she does work in the Lord's church. She is a wife. She is a mother of 100, and y'all know I'm coming tonight. She is a mother of 100. Would y'all help me? Welcome to.
Okay, mother of 100. All right.
Woo! No, but listen, you are a mother of many. Now, biologically, you have four.
Mm-hmm.
Two step.
For a living, yes.
Yes, four living, two step. children, and then you have like a host of other people that call you mama that are like daughter in loves and all of that wonderful
No, I
stuff.
don't have
So
any of those. I don't have daughter-in-laws. I have
you,
daughters.
you have the well, I'm sorry. You know, that's why I said you got 100 children. Yeah, you a G ma and all of that, you know.
Yeah. Hi
Now,
guys.
how you feeling tonight though?
I'm good as usual.
Good. Good. I'm glad you're feeling good. I'm excited about this conversation because I believe that as we go into the Mother's Day season, it's very important tonight for ladies to hear the trials, tribulations, ups and downs of mothers and motherhood, rather. And so I'm excited about this conversation. So let's start here tonight. Like always, right out the gate. Let's talk about what you think motherhood really is. If you had to define it from your words and from your thoughts and from your experiences and the things that you've been through, and y'all can tell tonight I'm really upbeat. Last week I was really chill with the guys, but tonight I'm really upbeat. You know, my wife gave me some medicine. She got me sick, so
Oh,
y'all pray for me. She got me sick, and so
Oh
I'm a
God.
little bit better now. Uh, but y'all tell me, define what y'all think motherhood is to you guys, and jump around. However you want to jump in, however you feel, jump around. This is a free flowing conversation.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind when we define what motherhood is, I would definitely first and foremost say it's a sacrifice um, from the
Ooh,
jump. It's,
wow.
it's a sacrifice.
Stay there and expound upon that. Why are you saying sacrifice?
Because before, I know the excitement comes when we are about to bring life into the world, but once we bring that life in, it's a total shift that happens in your life. You now have a baby or a person, to look after, and you have to adjust your entire life so that you can make sure this person that got placed in your care is taken care of.
Wow, wow. Anybody
Yeah.
else want to answer there?
That was I really enjoyed that answer that she gave, and I have to piggyback on that. It is definitely a sacrifice. You find yourself sacrificing in many different areas, and what motherhood to me is just life, like literally life. Like I don't know I don't know no other way now since
Wow,
I've been a mother to think besides mother sacrifice, loyalty, friendship, honesty, um transparency,
Hmm.
wow,
unconditional love.
wow.
That's what motherhood is to me. And some people they frown upon that word friend when you talk about your children.
We're gonna
But I
talk about
feel,
that tonight.
yeah, I
We're
kind
gonna
of feel
talk about
like
that.
I love it.
we are our children's first friend.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about that tonight.
Hmm.
So now, do you want to answer this, or can I move? What you want to do?
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, motherhood to me is a journey.
Woo!
Hmm.
It's a,
That was
it's
Y'all
good.
firing already. I love this tonight. Let's go.
a never-ending assignment,
Hmm.
Mm, mm.
and you can move on now.
Well. Let's
That was
stay here for a
great.
second. That was really crazy. Let's
That
stay
was
here for a
good.
second. If we take what Tinysha has said about our friendship, let's jump right into this. How do we balance being mother and friend to our children? Because some people would say, in my day, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm 36. I never viewed my mother as a friend until I got older. I was not 15 or 6 or 7 or 20. We see it with our pastor, Bishop elect Knight, him and his son, especially his older son, really have a close knit relationship. But even with his mom, he has it as well with Lady Knight. How do you balance that? How do you balance the strictness of the parent, but the freeness of the friend?
I mean, you set boundaries first and foremost. And for me, what happened was I had my first child young. So I grew up with my child. My
How
first,
young are we talking?
I was 17 when I had Tamara.
Ooh, You
I
talk
was
about navigating. That's some navigating right there. Are
yeah.
you out
So
of high school or still in
no,
high
I
school?
was still in high school.
The 12th
And
grade.
no, I okay. So my story is a little interesting. I
Yeah, tell
mean,
me. Come on, I'm
it,
pulling tonight.
so
Let's
I
go.
was one of those. I'm be real transparent tonight. I was one of those children that dealt with a lot because I wasn't raised by mom and dad. I was
Mm,
raised by grandmom. So grandmom, that brought on a lot of resentment and a lot of different things for me. So, I was afforded the opportunity to go to strict and private schools and private education, and but my behavior did not line up. So at a certain age when my behavior did not line up in class, my grandma thought it was okay to be like, oh, leave her back.
wow. So
So I
what
had
grade
to
were you actually in when you
so when
had
I had Tamara, I was going to the 11th grade. I
wow.
was going into the 11th grade. So I was like first,
Wow.
and I went to Catholic high school. So I was like one of the ones where it was like, oh my gosh, like people had to, or my peers had to see me carry, and it kind of placed a stigma on me, if you will, like, oh, stay away
Wow.
from her because she's pregnant, young, things like that. But fast forwarding, definitely setting boundaries. Again, I had my son at 17, and I was a child. I didn't even know like really what sex was all about. So, as a child growing up with my child, I had to definitely learn how to become an adult quickly, more quickly than I should have. So now that he's about to be 15, whew, help me, Holy Ghost. We have that relationship where he knows when it's mom the friend or when it's mom the disciplinarian, because
Mm,
he knows when to switch. He just understands the language and the culture of when I'm playing and when I'm not, or when you can come to me in a certain way and when you can't. So
wow.
when you set those boundaries, they kind of understand when or who they're talking to. Am I talking to my mom, or like can we kind of let that guard down and share that friendship?
Wow.
So I'll chime in. That was an amazing story. Tamira.
We just getting started because I got some more to ask from that story. Let's go.
Look, I said her name right,
I'm
Tamira.
very transparent. Thank you.
Tamara. I listen.
Yeah, you said my name
Tamara.
right. Yeah, you
Tanaya.
got it.
Tamara.
So proud of you.
So for me, having a friendship with my son, well, both my sons, because there's a big gap between my sons who are adults, 22, 21, and 23, and my twin daughters who are 8. um
That's a
back
humongous gap.
That's a child. My word.
Y'all know I'm here for it. I'm here for it
Starting over
tonight.
with
I'm with you.
I'm gonna
I'm
pull
with
this
you,
stuff up.
Shaniya, I'm about to say Shaniya because we
I'm with
twinning within that area. Okay. Okay.
Ba-da-ba.
So they used to call me boot camp mom when my boys were young,
Wow.
because
Mm.
I
Explain
learned
that.
how to be a strict disciplinarian because of the culture and the childhood that I was raised in. My parents, my grandmother was from a strong Christian based
Wow.
family. I could listen. It was to the point where I couldn't even listen to R&B music when my mom was home. I had to wait until she went to prayer meeting or Bible study and sneak and listen to some songs. And when I heard that car pulling up in the driveway, I turned that thing off to James Cleveland or something like that real quick. So that's the kind of household that I was brought up in. So I brought that same culture over to my children because that's all I knew, right?
Wow.
So with that being said, I was very strict with my boys when they were young, extremely strict. I played no games. Anybody will tell you, like, I give a look, that was that. But what I realized is that when that was not allowing me to allow my children to be authentic in who they were, it was
Wow.
also stricken them from having their own voice. And what I learned from, going to school and being around some more educated people is that it's not what they say, is how they say it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that they will learn how to communicate effectively is if I teach them, because I'm their first teacher, right?
Tinysha, don't rush us tonight. Don't rush us. Stay
Okay.
right there. Stay.
So
Say that again.
how I created boundaries with my son, and it's still a work in progress because, as I stated, children are changing every day. I'm changing every day. So there are things that their behaviors that they're accustomed to that changes every day. So I have to change right along with them. So like Tamara said, there is boundaries that has to be set from the beginning so that they can understand that, hey, I'm your friend, but I'm also your mother. So there's a certain level, there's a big level of respect that you have to show me at all times. But trust and believe that you can come to me and talk to me about anything. I've always left an open door policy where my sons have been able to have those uncomfortable conversations with me. And I'm talking about girlfriends, sex, since we're here, love, breakups, heartbreaks, any type of conversation they wanted to have with me. I've always been that mom to sit and listen to them and give them wise counsel, the wise counsel that I can give them. And if I couldn't give it to them, I would send them to somebody who I trusted to nurture them the way that I needed for them to be nurtured.
Wow. I'm loving this. Shaniya, you want to weigh in on that? Because I got another question for you.
Well, I mean, I guess my situation is completely different from Tamara. Okay, because I've been calling you Tamara, and I don't understand why nobody's never corrected me.
Nobody ever corrected me. She just corrected me tonight.
I have a story about this too.
A little bit closer to Tinysha's, but for me, when I started to have children, it was very important for me to be the closest one to them. So it was important for me to let them know that I am the closest one, like rather if it was me being a parent or me being a friend. I didn't have those parents growing up to be able to guide me the right way, that paid attention to me, that meddled in my business. Even my grown kids, I still meddle in their business, and I don't meddle in their business to be a pain. I meddle in their business because I want to guide them no matter what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it. I am a disciplinarian and very strict. Everybody knows this, but it's to a certain degree. Like my children were well aware that they could come to me about anything, rather if it's losing your virginity, rather if it's your sexuality, whatever it is. There was no such thing as being punished. It was important for me to listen to your errors and help you get through them versus you thinking you need to hide them from me, because I'm still an adult making mistakes. So I would never condemn or beat my kids up for making errors. I want to watch you go through and watch you come out. Yeah. So that open door has always been, even as a little child. Like I teach my adult kids to not shush my grandkids. I don't care what they got to say. I want them to say it.
Let them say it.
They'll if you get in trouble, you get in trouble. But I want you to say it because I want you to be able to speak what's on your heart. When I was a child, I didn't have nobody to listen to me. So I was put in harm's way. I had nobody to care enough. So me being my kid's friend is very, very important because I want them to have their voice.
I want them to have their
voice. Let's stay right here.
So hold on, Duane. So let me say something too. So what people need to understand, there's levels to friendship.
Yes.
Right? People think that there's one category to a friendship. There's different levels to friendship, and you have to rate what type of friend you want to be to you. Because people hear that word friendship, it's like, I don't want to be my kid's friend, but you can be your children's friend. Because there's a level to a friendship, and each level has a certain dynamic of respect.
Absolutely.
Again, that's boundaries.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, because you guys are bringing out so many points, and I'm taking mental notes. Shaniya brings up a good point. When your children are dealing with drugs, sexuality, girls, identity. How do you as moms deal with the challenges of those different things that may present itself to you?
Well, I'll go first when you're ready.
This is what I want, because I believe what you guys are going to share tonight are going to help some mothers who probably have not been open about dealing with certain things. Like, believe it or not, I'm coming to find out that there are mothers who are in the church, who are at the school, because I don't want to make this about like a condemnation on the church. That's not what it is. But let me say it like this. I'm finding out that there are mothers that we deem to be so sophisticated and well mature and well groomed that have children that despise them, hate them, don't like them. How do you guys deal with these challenges when it's not a reflection of the household that you intended to bring them up in or show them the way? Right?
So
How do
hold on,
we deal with
Shaniya,
it?
before you answer. So you just said something that was very important. They have a characteristic on the outside world, but their children despise them, and that's because they're not allowing themselves to be true to who they are. They're putting up an image of who they want people to perceive them to be in order to be respected. But how can you be respected when you don't show your authentic self in the first place?
I'm sorry.
I just believe in showing your authentic self. Now, with that being said,
What
everybody's
podcast
not
you
going to
on
like
again?
yours.
What podcast?
Oh,
No. I mean,
you.
Authentically.
Authentically. Yeah, you have to be your authentic
Yeah.
self. It makes no sense. And your children are the ones who are watching you every single day. So they know when you're faking the funk, right? And
wow.
that's typically why, and I'm not saying this for everybody, but a lot of times that is why kids sometimes despise their parents, because it's like, well, up, you one way out here, and then inside the house, you a whole demon. Like, I'm trying to understand, like, which person, who are you today? Who are you today? And I deal with some families who, in my line of work, who children will literally ask that question. I don't know who's coming home every day. I don't know who's coming home, and that's just sad. But go ahead, that's a whole nother topic. But go ahead,
Come on, Shaniya.
Shaniya.
How do you deal with these challenges?
Well-
One in particularly, I know you get ready to bring up. So come on, unpack it.
Well, so when we talk about, your kids being different or having struggles, what we call a struggle, because most people who have a struggle don't identify it as such. Sometimes they identify it as that's just who they are. But I have a son who is gay, and that is my stink-a-dink. And
we know you love him.
I know that's right.
And from the moment that Kwasim was probably about 3 years old, I knew he was gay. And for me, the best answer for me to help parents deal with a struggle within their children is you have to pay attention. Because if you don't pay attention to your child and identify the struggle early, how do you help them maneuver through it? Like I've seen and heard a lot of kids in my son's community that even as adults, young adults, are still hiding their sexuality from their parents because their parents are still in denial, or it is unacceptable for them to come out and be who they are. And I think the first thing that we forget to do as parents, even us in the church, is that our first responsibility is to love them. It's not to judge them. It's not to condemn them. It's not to necessarily try to figure it out. It is for us to love them, pray over them, and let God do the rest. When
That's a mature answer.
That's
Right.
a very mature answer.
That's a mature answer, because some parents would deem that like, yo, I need to fix this or fix that.
Right.
And I love the ending.
Or
of it.
they'll
It's
cut
like,
you
no.
off. They'll cut you
It's
off.
like, yo, I'm gonna let God do this work. Come on, Shaniya.
So when Kwasim was about 3, I seen all of those things in him, but everybody else identified him as a ladies' man. And as I watched my son, I kept saying, y'all don't know the difference between a ladies' man and a boy who is infatuated with features. And I used to constantly tell my husband, like, I'm telling you, Kwasim is infatuated with the features of a woman. He's not attracted to a woman. There's a difference. You have to be able to identify what attraction looks like and infatuation looks like. He wants what they have. He don't want to be associated in that way with who they are. So when we pay attention to our kids, we can help them better. We can support them better. We can encourage them more. And that is the one thing I've been big on, like, whatever you are, I'm going to love you right where you are. And if you come out of this, I want you to come out of this, then we're going to rock. If you don't, we're going to rock still, because I don't understand the battle with all of it. Just like we have people with Down syndrome, and I have a daughter that has cerebral palsy. There's so many things that clearly goes wrong in the womb. And I know that everybody has their own thing of, well, if you're gay, everything's a spirit. And I'm not going to go back and forth with people about that. But what I do know is there are things that happen. And I know that I gave birth to a child that way. I don't care what anybody's theory is. I don't care what anybody believes. I watched this boy transform. And when Kwasim was young, I never let him out my sight. No daycare, no babysitter. I wasn't worried about a job, none of that, because I had just lost a child through death. So Kwasim was my prized possession. So I know he wasn't harmed, touched, none. I didn't leave him nowhere. But my biggest suggestion to people would be to pay close attention to your children and don't let people in your ear and tell you, oh, child, do this. And I'm not saying don't lay your kids on the altar, but you know, there are people that will make you feel like you have to condemn and slain and cast out and make your kids feel so uncomfortable and all that because they different. You know, just love them where they are, pray for them, and let God do the rest.
I love that.
I love that.
That was a sound.
Yes,
That was sound, and I love it because I think oftentimes, the separation of understanding how far to go with your child. I think what some people don't understand is you will forever be a mother. I remember my mother telling me one time, as a grown man, she wanted me to do something. And I said, I can't do that. Right. And she was like, oh, I'm the mother, you're the child. And I was like, you know, with my didactic talking, I said, hey, you'll forever be my mother, but that doesn't give you the right in this environment to command or demand this just because. And I love what you guys are talking about tonight, because we're talking about really the hardships of mothering that people really don't see. Some people may go through it, but they don't see it. Like they may see you come to church, get them to school, or get them to work. If you got older kids that you got to drop off at work, maybe they 16, 17, but they don't see like the mother crying at night because of certain things that they wish weren't one way, or certain things that they wish were another way, or not being able to provide the things that they think that their children deserve during the Christmas season. I've seen mothers literally break down. How do you two overcome those challenges?
So when you said that, it brought back some memories of, you know, in my younger years, having, you know, before my daughters were born, having my boys going to bed, making sure that they ate, but I did not.
Wow.
The struggle of Christmas time, going to every Christmas function that I can find just to make sure that my boys had gifts under the tree, because I financially could not afford. And it wasn't because I was, and I don't knock anybody that's on any type of social services or anything like that. I was a working mother.
Wow.
I was a working mother, struggling to pay bills, struggling to keep food in the house. And the crazy, my little income, the SNAP, not SNAP, but what they call it in Jersey, food stamps, told me I was.
They call it everywhere. It's food stamps everywhere.
It's
worldwide.
$1 over, and I could not receive any type. So I'm scrounging, and you're right. Those nights where you lay in the bed and cry because all you want is to make sure that these children that you chose to bring into this world is taken care of. And like Tamara said earlier, it's an everyday sacrifice. Wow. I have a 23-year-old son. He's probably gonna like run me over with something if I'm gonna tell her anyway, because I'm the mom. So he's 23 years old and literally had oral surgery today where he had to have 2 teeth removed. 23 years old, and I'm making sure that his medication is filled, making sure that he has his pain medication. Went to the store to make sure he has the proper food to eat so that he can be taken care of, because you know when you have oral surgery you can't eat. All the while still trying to rush home to be here on time, trying to make sure my daughters ate, trying to make sure they're cleaning their room, doing what they're supposed to do. So it's an everyday struggle being a mom, definitely having those sleepless nights when your child is sick. And when they're sick, or let's do this, when they're being disobedient, not knowing what to say, how to am I being too hard? Am I saying the right thing? Am I being the right example for my child? Because I'm not even gonna lie, at one point in time, I was not the right example. I wasn't in these streets doing all kind of stuff, but my background, I was known to, scrap like all the time. And it's a couple.
Yeah, you look like you do. I looked at your fist one day. You and Shaniya look like y'all bang human. I'm sorry. Go ahead, continue on. I'm so sorry.
I'm asleep.
How dare you? But so I remember one time like driving in the car, and I had road rage. Thank the Lord for deliverance. He come Messiah. So driving on the highway one day, and somebody cut me off. And the thing that really irritated me the most was the fact that when she cut me off, I had to slam on my brakes. And my son face went forward. And when he hit his face, his nose started bleeding.
Wow.
So immediately,
I'm snapping.
That's what happened. So here I go, flying down 95. Follow her to the next exit, jumps out the car. I ain't gonna say the rest, but jumps out the car. And this is something that my children witnessed. What made me change is a couple of months later, my oldest son said, Mom, remember when you snatched that lady up? I was like,
Oh my God. He had to remind you, huh?
Yeah,
and I said, yeah. And I was like, well, Mommy did that because, somebody hurt you. But it was a different way I could have done it. So I said that to say that, a lot of times we have to be very careful on what we do, how we do it, what we say, how we say it, especially around our smaller children, because this is the influences that we instill in them, even at a young age. So yeah, those moments of crying at night and making sure that you're trying to be the best mom you can be and doing all those right things, that's definitely a task, because like somebody said, I think it was Shaniya said, we make mistakes every day, but we require our children to not make mistakes. And I had to realize within myself, how am I coming down on my kids for making mistakes of stuff that they don't even know they're learning? And here I am as an adult, and I know better, and I still make some of the same mistakes.
Yo, this is so good. This is so good, because I want to stop for 1 second and just share this, because you guys have you're bringing up my childhood here as we talk. And I remember my father had left the household at this point in time. He had sickle cell anemia, so it took him in and out of hospitals a lot. And he only wanted my mom to kind of be his caretaker while he still had some other stuff going. That's for a story for another day. But I remember there was a guy that was interested in my mom. And this is funny. He was interested in my mom and me, right? Like, so I was on my dad's team, but I still, disliked my dad at the time. I'm like, yo, how you leave your family? Yo, what's up with that, right? But I was still on his team. So I remember she goes out with this guy. I don't know how he signed up for this. Some guy she met on her job or something like that. And she took me and my sister on the date. Boy, I was so shady. I was throwing, yes. I was like, yo, he was a good dude for allowing the kids to come, because I was so shady on this date. Like, I was throwing temper tantrums in the background.
You bet you was.
I was like, yo, get your hand off my mama. Like, don't touch her on her shoulder.
How old were you?
Man, we probably had to be like below 15, but above 10. Somewhere up in there.
Too old to be on somebody's date.
But you know what? That's how my mom was, though. Like, she really wanted to make sure that me and Erica was really taken care of. And if it wasn't my oldest sister or my grandma, God rest her soul, that could watch us, or like we had an auntie in the church named Sister Denise who watched us, we would be with her. And I think that's why I look at parenthood and motherhood the way that I do, because of the things that she has done. But I remember throwing so much shade. I was on that date throwing so much shade because I didn't want my mother to get married. And now I look back like, boy, you stupid. Maybe if you would have let her get married, she might not bother you. Glory to his name.
But that's crazy, because that never changes, because my sons are grown and they do that now.
Like, they do that.
I don't have this opportunity
now.
You will never get this opportunity.
I think nowadays, when it comes to dating and things like that, you have to be very careful with bringing your children early.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to ask y'all, especially you two. Shaniya's out of this question, but you two, how are you guys date? Because y'all don't have like one child.
We got a lot.
Right. Y'all got 3.
We got a whole lot. We got
but Tinysha in a little different situation, because she's got 2 older ones that can kind of fend for themselves.
Right. I got 2 grown men and 2 small children.
Too small. But how are you guys dating with those parameters around you, and how do guys receive you with like those parameters?
I want to be very transparent.
Be transparent
I
tonight. You on
really
the
do, and
Authentically
I'm
You
so glad you asked
podcast.
this
Let's
question
go.
because I actually had this conversation, or yeah, I think I had this conversation with somebody like a couple of weeks ago. As a mom of three, not just one, of three, and the age range is they're all 5 years apart. 5 years.
5? They
They're
5 years
all
apart.
Tamara's about to be 15.
At least she
DJ's
rested
10.
in the will of God.
Naomi is about to be 5 this month. So when it comes to dating, firstly, I kind of in the back of my mind, and I'm very considerate, if you will, when it comes to the whole dating situation. I know how I pray firstly about who I want to be in my life and who I would like to for somebody like and who I would like to be a father figure to my children. That's one. And two, um if it's a single man, um, that believes the same way that I do, but he does not have children at all, in my mind, I'm like, I would kind of pump my brakes because I would like for that person to have a chance to start a family with somebody that also does not have
But
children.
why do women do that?
Because one, you got to be very careful with who you bring and connect to when you're dating or in a relationship, because what may like you just got to be careful of people's what is that called,
Motives.
their motives. And so I may I may be, you know real, connected with the person, but then when my children come around, they a little standoffish, or they like, children will tell you even when they don't never open up their mouth, if they can really discern somebody's energy, their motives, and just everything. And so you got to be very careful with who you bring around your children, and listen to your children when they say they uncomfortable around somebody, or when they don't like somebody, or just something about. Now it's a difference when they just hate
Yeah,
you.
please tell me, but tell me the difference between them saying I'm uncomfortable because they really feel it, or I'm uncomfortable because I really don't want my mom to be with this guy. How
You
do you
could
know the
just kind
difference
of
there?
you can just, if you know your child, again, with like how Shaniya was talking, she said you got to pay attention to your children, and you kind of know their behaviors. That's like when you know your child is they're crying or having a fit, and there is nothing really wrong with them. We have
Gotcha.
those, like when they go through whatever they go through, you just doing that because you want some type of attention,
Gotcha.
versus no, I really feel uncomfortable. Like, for example, my middle son, DJ, he deals with a very bad fear and anxiety. And that's, I wanted to answer that last question when we talked about struggles, because my struggle may not look like her struggle when she talked about her son and what she noticed growing up. But my son gradually got anxiety and fear at a young age by some situations that happen in our lives. So with that being said, you have to be like, so if DJ goes into this fear or this panic, because y'all know DJ is kind of like, hey, what's up? Like, he like, y'all know him. We go to church.
He's
Y'all
laid
go to
back,
church. And
laid
so
back and
he's laid
reserved.
back, but he will talk to you, and he will come over to you and just shake your hand. But if he's kind of acting like he's fearful because he deals with fear and he deals with anxiety, that's going to raise a red flag for me, because
Wow.
that's not of his personality. Why are
Wow.
you acting like this? What is wrong? Like, when DJ has, like, he's scared of something, he will come to me and be like, well, can you follow me, or can you do this, because I don't really feel that comfortable. So if it's that, all right. Now if he be like, oh, they kind of cool, I want to hang out. Like, you just know. You just got, again, you
Gotcha.
just got to know your children.
Gotcha.
So for me, I feel like it's a conversation, because at the end of the day, my kids aren't going anywhere.
A conversation with who?
A
The person
conversation
you're
with the
dating,
person that
or
I'm dating,
okay?
and it's a conversation with my children.
What does that conversation look like with the person that you're dating?
So the
Hey, I
conversation
got
is,
4 kids.
hey, well, guess what? I don't got to tell you that because my kids are always around.
Right.
You see them?
You check my
saw them when you was
Instagram, Facebook, come to church, whatever. My kids is right here because I don't hide my children.
Right.
Okay.
No, but I just wanted to know, like, what that
Yeah.
conversation is like from a practical
So,
sense. Yeah, for
yeah.
somebody that's
Okay.
listening.
You got kids? Yeah, 4, 2 adult sons and 2 twin daughters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I have a conversation, with them at the end. Like I said, at the end of the day, my kids aren't going anywhere. They're a part of me. Even when they become an adult, they will still be around. They may not be around as much, but they will be around. I also make it very clear. I'm not looking for a father for my children because they have a father, and their father is a father. Their father is present, and their father does what he's supposed to do and takes care. So I don't need a father for my children. But if you want to enhance, if you want to be a part of the family dynamic that I am creating over here, then this is what we're doing. We're going to talk.
It's going to be a part 2 conversation later.
If you have any questions that you want to know, feel free to ask. Now, here's the thing. I may not always agree with how you feel, and that's okay. You may not always agree with how I feel about what you said, and that's okay. But we have to come to some type of compromise. If I'm what you want and you are what I want. There is a compromise. With that being said, there's also a conversation that needs to take place with the children, because when I was a child, my mom did not have that conversation with me, right? And I love my mother. My mother is a wonderful mother. She never had that conversation with me. And there was a man that came into our lives, and he became the ruler of the house. And we're looking at him like, who did I will say? We said something else.
Tony, pause there. So
how
Kevin asked a really great question, and that was really my follow-up question.
Go ahead.
But that's okay. That was really I got you, because I'm gonna ask it. That was really my follow-up. How do you institute that guy within your family dynamics as the head? If you're saying like, hey, I've already created this and you gotta fit into it. How does he fit into it? Where let's start here. Let me ask you this question, yes or no. You marry a guy who's not the kid's father. Is he the head of your household? Yes or no?
He is.
Then my follow-up question would be, this is so good tonight. Then my follow-up question would be, what is his role now within the house, and how does that correction and redirection look for you?
Okay, very simple. He's the head of the household. And like I said before, there's a conversation that needs to happen with your children. Hey, listen, the dynamic has changed now. Okay. At the end of the day, this is my husband. He is initially should respect you, but you should also respect him, because he is the head of the household. There is not going to be one point where, especially if I know it's done in love, right? That's the first thing. Because anybody can come into your life, but their intentions for being a part of your children's life may not be good intentions. So like Sister Tamara, like Minister Tamara, I'm sorry, I'm not going to use your title. Like my sis said over here, Tamara said, you pick up red flags from the beginning, right? And a lot of times we ignore them red flags. Do not ignore them red flags. You have to identify what they are and make a decision if they are red flags that you can grow past, meaning that you get the proper counsel that you need, the proper information that you need to grow together. Or if these red flags are so bright, it's like, this is a no for me. For me, it's a no. For somebody else, it's a yes. But to go back to your question, I believe in conversations. There's a conversation that needs to be had. And when I do, because I believe that, God does have that mate for me, when I do become a wife, it will be straight across the board. This is the head of the household. What he says goes, and I'm going to support him 100%. Even if I don't agree with him, I'm not going to let my kids know I don't agree with him.
I got a question.
That's a conversation I'm going to have with him outside of my children.
Yeah.
Because y'all ain't fitting to leave me out of this just because this man had me tied down all this. Okay. However, because I used to think about that. Me and Tay used to have conversation all the time. I'd be like, man, if I was dating right about now, when I hear people's stories, I'd be like, because they doing it all wrong. But the one thing that I think is very important is a lot of people make the mistake of, and this is just my theory, a lot of people make the mistake of introducing their kids to too many people. You dating, everybody don't need to meet everybody. And I don't think that is important for you to bring your kids around, introduce or teach them.
Say that again,
Shaniya. Until you know that this man and you are committed. I'm not saying you have to wait to a proposal, but you should be on your way down that road. Y'all had dated long enough. So I don't find it to be important for kids to be introduced to people that I'm dating, because I could be dating a million people before I find Mr. Whoever he is or whoever she is. But
so Shaniya, then, so what is your advice for people at the introductory level? What do you think should occur for them to introduce their child to this person?
if it was me,
I mean, we know show me that you worthy. Give me break this thing down. Go
if it was me, I wouldn't really do a thing called introduction. Like, he would just come over, you know, we just watching a movie, introduce my kids. Oh, this is Mr. So-and-so. The next time maybe we are at my mother's cookout. Like, it would be somebody that they will gradually be put in an atmosphere around and be introduced to and just become familiar with, for one. And then as the time goes on, you know, we can later discuss, okay, me and Mr. So-and-so are really now serious. So we need to, you know, try to spend a little bit more time together. I also, and just from my own experience, I also don't think that it is a good idea to wait until you marry somebody for them to become the head of household, because what kind of head of whose household do you know that they would be? And when you're dating people is a little iffy from just marrying and giving a title and these expectations. Now, again, to each his own, you know, some of us, you know, are living right by the word and we ain't doing certain things because the Bible said so. Shaniya would not be doing that. I need to know who he is, how he operates, and how he moves if I have children. So he's definitely moving in prior to the wedding, okay? Because there's not going to be no horror surprises. I need to put my kids in an intimate space a little bit before I say, oh, this your new daddy and X, Y, and Z. I need
your new daddy.
I need to watch him lead us. I need some examples. I need to watch him lead us before I change my last name. I'm not jumping in.
He couldn't do that
without no life jacket.
He couldn't do that from.
No, he can't. He can't. We can do every other week. Whatever.
Wait. Pause, Shaniya.
We can go back and forth. But baby, I got the test.
Shaniya, rewind that. You not doing what?
No.
You said you're not doing what without no what?
I'm not jumping in a puddle without a life jacket. You understand me? Absolutely not. You're not gonna fool me. And then I'm in counseling and we only been married 6 months. No, bro. What's going on?
God, you listen tonight. You gotta love this girl here.
No, literally,
I can respect that. I can respect that.
No, hear me, and I want people to hear me. You know, very seriously. I think we've become such condemners of people's thoughts because we don't allow them to mature their thoughts. And I don't bring people on the show to condemn their thoughts. I bring them on here to give their perspective, because believe it or not, you would be surprised. There's a lot of people who think like that, but will never say it out loud. Correct. Because they are afraid of what people may say or how they will handle it. And on this podcast, I want to make sure that I say it loud and clear that this is a safe place. I want your thoughts. Now, in regards to respect for the audience and for people, absolutely. But I want your real thoughts, because believe it or not, there are people who are thinking like it. There are people who are saying, hey, you know what? I need to look at this a little differently. I need to do this and do that. And that's what we want. We want people to walk away from this thinking for the better, right? Thinking to move forward for the better. We want you to hear the struggles, hear the letdown, hear the disappointments, hear these different things and say, you know what? I can grow. I can be better from this, and I can do better with this. I want to ask y'all this final question, because last week this hour came up on us so quick. So the guys is like, yo, it definitely got to be a part 2. But I have episodes all the way out to June. I did not book any episodes out to July because I want to bring those part 2s back in July. So I'm booked. I'm real talk. May, June, done. Got guests. It's done. And I started the book in July, but now I was like, I'm gonna hold up, because I realized that show number 1, that was a great show with my brother Q, my brother Nate, my brother Mike, and we got to have a part 2 to finish that conversation. And I kind of knew this was going to be a part 2 segment, because we haven't even tapped some of the stuff that I really want to dive deeper into in motherhood, we have just touched,
The
a
surface.
little bit of the surface, and it was really turning here. But I want to be respectful to these internet streets and stay true to my 1 hour, because then you start talking too long and people just like tune you out. But we're gonna have a part two, so I'm gonna look at this calendar in July and see. I know we got some things coming up in July, especially towards the end into August. So I might have to make this at the beginning of July, because towards the end, many of us won't be available for the things that we have on our calendar. But however, I think this is going to be a very helpful and insightful conversation. Now, first, before I ask the last question, I want to ask those who are watching tonight, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, Duane Williams Jr., I want you to go and subscribe, because we're going to be bringing conversations like this. Like, we're not doing this for money. We're doing this because I believe that people need to hear from real people. A lot of times we hear, and I'm not saying that you're not hearing from real people on other podcasts. What I'm saying is we hear from people who've already had major platforms. So they know a lot of what to say, what not to say. They know a lot of words to maneuver you into where they want you to be. But to hear from real life people in these real life places dealing with real life struggle becomes a different avenue. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go and subscribe. Duane Williams Jr., Duane. Go and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay in the know with these conversations. Okay, we talked a little bit about the dating challenge, and we talked a little bit about other challenges that we dealt with. I want to ask you a question, and I don't know how much time we're gonna have, but let's all try to stay within like a 2.5 minute round, right, to answer. Teenage pregnancy. If I'm not mistaken, Shaniya, you experienced teenage pregnancy, correct? Yes.
Yeah, me.
Couple times.
Mara, yes. And you as well too. When was your first child?
I was 21.
Oh, come up out
I
of
was
the darkness.
21 and married.
Come up out of the darkness into the light. So this is good. So we only got two people. So you we'll save you for round two on the next one. But I'll let you go and say some final thoughts in a second. But for Shaniya, and how do you guys deal with this teenage pregnancy and the stereotypical conversation around, like, man, she's a fast girl? How did you deal with that? How did that make you feel? And what did you kind of do to change the narrative around teenage pregnancy? I could tell this story because I know my baby sister won't mind. She was teenage pregnancy, and I'll be honest with y'all. My baby sister is smarter than me. Her grades were better than mine. Her IQ level was higher than mine. And she was the head of her class academically. Academically, she had it. That wasn't me. I started in the slow class, and then I worked my way up out the slow class and ended up in regular population, general population.
Why are you like this?
I'm just telling the truth. I'm just telling the truth. I started and I worked my way because I couldn't read for a long time. So listen. We on Authentically You. I'm just trying to help. So I worked my way up out of those classes and into the general population. But my sister has always been in general population, but she wound up in teenage pregnancy. And my mama was a strict church lady, and people was like, "Yo, what's good?" So how did y'all deal with that?
So I grew up in the Baptist church, and again, I was raised by my grandmom. So I don't remember having conversations centered around sex and protection and birth control or anything like that. So did somebody just get smart because I said I was in the bed? Okay.
No,
but-
he's Kelly's
No, he's talking about the way.
No.
Sorry, I got so distracted.
Look, I'm trying my best not to laugh because I'm trying to respect what you're about to say.
No,
but he
it's
making
okay,
me
I get
laugh.
it.
He making me
It
laugh
just
because
took
he
me
talked
off guard.
about. He couldn't wait to say that. Makes sense. He
Makes
couldn't wait.
sense. I was like, wait.
No, he talking to me. He talking to me.
So I wasn't afforded the opportunity to have conversations like that. So with peer pressure and being in high school, the first person I actually lost my virginity to, I got pregnant. It wasn't, I was fast. I was uneducated. I wasn't fast. I didn't know. So when I lost my virginity, I got pregnant.
No, say that again. You weren't fast. You didn't.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and then what didn't you know? Expound like
So
what
I
happened.
didn't. I didn't have conversations. So I didn't know anything about sex. I didn't. I was.
That's
not
what I want
educated.
you to say. Come on.
I was not educated when it came to sex and protection and diseases, all of those things that we should talk about with our children. I didn't feel like I had that, or I don't remember that. Again, I was like an unruly child or whatever. I came up in some a special circumstance or whatever. So when I did get pregnant, people had the preconceived notion, or like they judged me based upon me being young and pregnant. Oh, and then they also talked about my grandmother too. Oh, you just let her do anything. She's I
Wow.
was actually called from some saints a human mattress. Let's just like I need to.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. It was there. It was that. People just disconnected to me because I was pregnant. I was young, and people even offered my grandmom to pay for an abortion just because they wanted to put up this like, oh well, she shouldn't be pregnant, she can't handle that, she's a child, and how's that going to make you look? My grandmom, thanks be unto God, I'm sorry, I can switch.
She
real
just got
quick.
she just
I'm
got caught up.
Did you see it? Did you see it get caught up?
She
Did you
was like,
see it?
no,
Did you
even
see
though
it get caught up?
she was, even though that's wrong, even
Way
though
up
that's
there.
wrong, the enemy can't give life, so I'm not going to allow you to put her in a predicament where she's going to abort. And now fast forward, I had my son Tamara, that's the oldest one, and how you deal with people that judge you because of your young age of pregnancy is you prove the doubter wrong, literally. People counted me out and thought I was going to be nothing and told my grandma I was going to be anything. But then now these are the same people that's calling me for prayer. These are the same people that's like, oh my God, I never seen this coming. Yeah, I know you didn't. I gave you permission to think differently. And so did my son, because he's an honor student and he knows my story, because I told him, I said, listen, don't go out here and get no girls pregnant. Yeah, I know, Mom, you got pregnant at 16 with me. I'm not crazy. I want to live my life.
Wow.
You right. Cool. And I accept that. I love that for you. Go and explore, because at the end of the day, I know I had children at a young age and it was a sacrifice for me, and sometimes I'm about to be done, and sometimes I also feel like I put my own self through torment because I was
Wow.
not ready.
Wow.
So the way you deal with people that want to judge you because of your decisions is you prove them wrong, and you say, I'm not this, but I'm what God says. At the end of the day, He can use your story. So me raising my children, you see them, y'all know them. They're anointed, they're talented, they keep good grades, they're loving children. So that's just how you do it when you get pregnant, you know?
Well, for me, my situation is a little different. When I first ever got pregnant, Shaniya was 12. Shaniya was 12 years old when she got pregnant for the first time. Had just maybe 6-7 months prior to that, I just got my period. But I was 12 years old, and I never looked at people. I've never looked at little girls and said she's fast. I look at little girls and say they're wounded. They're traumatized. They're neglected. They're unsupervised.
Hold up, Shaniya. Hold up. Walk us through that. This is getting really good.
Because that is what I was. I was unsupervised. I was left to find out life by myself. I was left to allow whatever somebody wanted to do be done to me. And I didn't have a voice to speak up because I was raised to accept and submit to what your circumstances are. So for me, it was I got touched. It wasn't forced, but I didn't fight it either because I didn't know how to. So I became pregnant, and then in me being 12 years old, I have a right to be ignorant. So I'm not telling anybody. I don't know anything. I don't know what to do. I'm just going on with the Joneses. And then my mom gets incarcerated, and I come to Philadelphia for a visit with a cousin, and I don't really know how she found out I was pregnant, but her and my dad immediately got me an abortion during Christmas break. Immediately got me an abortion. Wow. So, but I thank God, because baby, if I would have got stuck with that joker, I think the joker I got is something. Woo! Listen, however, I was 12, and then the next time that I got pregnant, I was 18, and that's the son that I lost. But I don't look at little girls as being fast. I look at them as being unsupervised. I look at them as being traumatized and wounded, and people need to learn to reach out and help and stop having so much to say, because for one, you don't know how it happened, why it happened, or what could have prevented it from happening. And at the end of the day, this is a life. Rather, if people choose to abort or give birth, just help them do whatever it is that they need to do. Like, again, abortion, okay, yeah, you're killing somebody, but that's between them and God. Like, let God deal with them. Like, help them navigate through life. The choices that they want to make is between them and the Lord. Like, whatever they got to go through, they got to go through. But, my advice to people is if you get pregnant, just pray and figure out what you're going to do, because it's hard being 13, 14, 15 and giving birth. Okay, it's easy for other people to just look at you and say, "Oh, you're gonna make it through this. Oh, it's gonna be all right." What if it's not all right?
What if it's
You
not?
know how
What
many
if it's
babies
not?
die at the hands of teenage mothers because of neglect and ignorance? You know how many kids get put in the system and get raped and neglected and starved? And what if it's not all right? Like, it's a mental thing sometimes when you get your child taken from you, or you're criticized because you don't know no better at the way that you're raising your kids. When you're unfortunate and you can't afford something and your kids got holes in their shoes. There's a lot of things that people go through. It weighs mentally on us as women, and it's not fair to have so much to say.
It's not
But
fair.
it's
to
not
have so
fair.
much to say.
But this is the thing,
I love
Shaniya, you
this.
said something, and then that cycle repeats itself
Exactly.
all over again. All over again, because nobody took the time to educate this young woman who was traumatized by an experience that she didn't ask for.
Right.
Wow. This has been a phenomenal conversation, and I really want to add my 2 cents here from a child's perspective. I remember getting older, and I told my mom, I said, Mom, you did a great job with making me spiritually aware. You did a great job with making me Jesus conscious. But where you could have done better was making me practically sound. And so when people, once again, you're talking about like people not knowing your story, one of the reasons why I am not injected with the influence of, and hear me, I say this with a sincere heart, not a judgmental heart to anybody else, or not a shady heart towards anybody else. But one of the reasons why I'm not influenced by, you know, quickening or really quickening or speaking in tongues real quick is because I believe that the first thing that the Holy Spirit should do is minister to you first,
Give you wisdom.
and minister to you where you should grow and where you should develop and where you should get better. And sometimes that is in the stillness of who he is, not in the emotionalism of what we deem is our culturally sound activities, right? And so I told my mother, I said, you did, but you didn't do a good job here. And Tamara, you hit it on the head. Uh, there was a time where the church did not educate on sex. The only thing that they said was, hey, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Our
It's a
parents said,
hell before
don't do it,
fornication.
because hey, it was a sin towards God. We get it, but with proper education gives us understanding of why we shouldn't. And so I remember those days. I remember all of those things. And so my encouragement tonight to a lot of parents would be, it's a resounding thing that we're hearing: have conversations with your children, no matter what it is. Have conversations with your children. I want to go around and get y'all last word before I give my final word. Tamara, what's your last word? What you got to say? Tell them where they can find you, any books. Oh, you got a prayer CD.
I got a prayer CD.
Yeah, throw your prayer CD out there. Go ahead.
All right. I guess the last thing that I want to say is for those or for mothers who are currently mothers, stay encouraged and stay prayerful. I mean, just be encouraged and stay strong, because again, motherhood is an ongoing sacrifice, and if you have children, that means the Lord trusts you with his seed. So just be encouraged. Now, when it comes to those who are thinking about children, especially young women that desire children, if you have not had a chance to learn you, or had not had a chance to discover your likes, your dislikes, and just everyday things you would want in life, give yourself a chance to learn you, because once a child gets involved, you have to learn all about them and forget about you. So I will throw that out there. But again, I am Minister Tamara Reid, and I'm a part of Bethel Highway Church. And I do have a prayer single called Pray, P.R.A.Y. It is available on all major outlets. Peace Revealed After Yielding. That's what it's called. And I am looking forward to releasing a book and just being minister and changing the world. That's all I have to say. Thanks, you guys.
We're gonna put you backstage. And Shaniya, you go first.
What I'm saying?
You giving your closing remarks. You're saying goodbye, where they can find you. Tell them
Okay.
about your business. Your
Wait.
business did my wedding. We so greatly appreciate you for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Laboratory Events on Instagram. Jacob's Ladder CLC Incorporate on Instagram. Sand Spear Shaniya on Instagram. However, my closing remarks is, ladies, be authentically you. Don't be anybody that somebody wants you to be. Be you. Don't be ashamed of where you come from, where you at, and where you on your way to. Stay prayed up, but you can't stay prayed up without having a listening ear. So make sure when you're praying, you listening and you watching for your answers. And don't really come looking for me unless you looking for me to do a business with you. Other than that, catch you next time.
Oh, you gotta love this girl.
hilarious.
You gotta love her. You gotta love her. Tinysha, come on, what you got for us?
What I would say is to all parents, not just mothers, but to all parents, parenting does not come with a handbook.
Don't.
You learn as you grow. You grow as you learn. Something I teach to my students in my class is something that I kind of embedded in my everyday life. You have to practice this skill called big ears, big eyes, and a small mouth. And what that's saying is, when it comes to your children, you have to see, and not just see with your own eye, but see them for who they are, who they're growing into being, and learn to respect the individual that they're growing into, while still instilling knowledge into them to make them a better adult. You have to listen with your ears to what they're saying to you, not what you think you hear or what you perceive to hear, but listen deeply to what they're actually saying. And don't be so quick to give a negative response or condemn your children. Sometimes you have to sit back and be quiet, and that's not easy for parents because we have so much that we want to say and so much that we don't agree with. But sometimes be quiet and listen to the things that they say, and then it will allow you to adjust your conversation with them and meet them where they are. Where you can find me is also at Bethel Church. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. I don't really do the gram like that, but you can find me there. I'm also in the process of writing a book called Broken Tables. So be on the lookout for that. I'm just waiting for a few logistics, and that's just, talking about having those uncomfortable conversations in life. That's it.
Thank you. Listen, for the last 10 seconds that I have your time, I want to tell you this. For every mother tonight, you are strong, you are purposeful, and you are blessed by God. Never allow yourself to fall by the wayside for what the enemy wants to do to you, because God has you in mind when he created you and when he created the seed that lives inside of you. I want you to do me a favor. Whenever you feel the weight of the world coming down on your shoulder, whenever you feel the weight of the world taking you by your legs and dragging you down, I need you to repeat these words after me. I am more than a conqueror, and I can make it to where God needs me to be. I want to encourage you on this next venture of your life that you are greater than what's in front of you, and to wish you a happy Mother's Day on behalf of the Authentically You podcast. Until next time, my friends, next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will see you. Remember to remain true to yourself as long as you put God first. Good night, everybody. Have a great night.